I am a survivor of the Paul Canero closing, the Defense 4-hour slog of ineptitude and an indictment on the federal education system. No child left behind my ass. We should have left both of them behind on the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, I mean, do I believe that this jury can find her guilty? Yeah. Am I there? I'm on the fence because I'm in there, right there with who else and what else. And the state haven't really answered either of those. Because there's some, do we really have this strong connection? Because it's still one drug dealer, because we all know they are very, very reliable with what they sell, if they can make a profit and skim some drugs, to the next drug dealer who at the time had a serious drug problem. No, I don't think either of those cared what was in those pills.
Right. Or necessarily knew.
Or they don't have to know, though. I mean,
but
where it really gets down to it is the intent, I think. And I agree with Mo. I think the more critical witness, probably the most critical witness in terms of setting the tone, was Josh Grossman, because she destroyed him, manipulated and destroyed him.
Totally. Totally. You know, and I think that it drove me nuts. Like I'm still obsessed with the hush puppy. Like how that was not addressed by either side just made my head explode. I'm like, as soon as I saw the thing where this guy's blacked out from morning until 11 o'clock at night, like after he eats these hush puppy things, and neither side gets into it at all, I was like, what is it? And the guy's dog died the next day. I mean, if you live in a world where I'm a dog owner and I'm guilty of feeding my dog human food all the fucking time, and like if he was nibbling on whatever these treats were and gave his dog a bite because his dog was sitting there, you know, head on his lap, just with big doggy eyes, and you're like, all right, and then his dog dies. I'm like, what? Like, so, you know, because I've seen people saying, you know, everybody started Googling, are there drugs called hush puppy? I mean, maybe. People are like, but it's also a food. It's definitely a food. You know, so it is like the fact that nobody got into it tells me one of two things. Either nobody investigated it in terms of law enforcement ahead of time, so they didn't know the answer, you know, but like ask Josh in the hallway. You know, this doesn't take a massive investigation. Like if I'm the state, I'm like, hey man, did you know, this thing that you were talking about in that text message, the hush puppies, what were you referring to? And then he tells you, because you would have to think if it was something that Kouri hand delivered to him, that would have been exhibit 1A in this trial, you know, that she brings this shit over to him and this guy blacks out for 12 hours and then comes, you know, and then the poor guy's dog dies. Because you're right, Tony. I mean, and Mo, like what she did to that guy was just, you know, evil. She needed the work done on the properties. She drags this guy up from North Carolina. She gives him a place to live, and she's not having to pay him. So like she's got 13 properties. She needs the work done. She needs to be able to flip these properties. She doesn't have the cash to be paying anybody else. So this guy is doing all of her bidding. She's professing her love to him, and he's actually in love with her, you know, and she's using him all along. I don't know, man. Yeah, he was a powerful witness for the state for certain, because it certainly made the jury feel a certain way about Kouri. Because I don't know how you walk away from that particular examination of that witness, not number one, not feeling sympathetic towards him, but number two, not feeling like Kouri wasn't using him. You know what I mean? You had to walk away.
Bob, counterpoint and devil's advocate, was it Lent, and do you trust a Long John Silver's in Utah? It could have been natural. Kouri could have had nothing to do with it. We have to look at the fact patterns individually. And if he was eating fish and hush puppies in Utah, away from the ocean, Kathy Nestor, hire me.
Yes.
I throw my downers in the fryer.
I think we can, like somebody in chat, Google whether or not there are still Long John Silvers in Summit County, Utah. So that'll answer our first question. I actually ran into one. I was driving through Indiana the other day because I wasn't sure if they still existed. Because they used to have them in Illinois, and that was where I had my first hush puppy. Well, he's like from Long John Silvers with their fish and their hush puppy like meal deal or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. And I'm in the Midwest, so whether or not that was fresh fish is questionable. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it just drives me nuts, that part of it though. It's like they must not have had the answers, but my question is why? Like either side should have been.
Yeah, it seemed like no one really wanted to get to the bottom of this except for the private investigator who did all the work and probably knows exactly what happened, but it's not admissible in court.
Sherlock Holmes, man. I mean, Garber, the guy, I come up with two hypotheses and then I determine which one is wrong. And when I land on the correct one, you have your answer. I mean, the guy was like, I'm like, he was a point in television. Oh my God.
I know. And if you've been a parent, you have seen that smile before your youngest, most feral child has lit something on fire.
Oh yeah.
So why ostensibly she seems to make references that she's had children, and why she didn't say Danger Will Robinson or Admiral Akbar, it's a tarp, I don't know.
I don't know. It was a mystery. Like Nestor just missed the mark with that guy because of like, if it's me, I'm living in the world of the broken chain of custody as to tons of evidence, that it's like, look, whatever the case may be, the bottom line is that there were interlopers that were dealing with evidence that ultimately was used in this case. Like, you can't trust it. It's like, that's the whole point. I mean, chain of custody is very, very important. Now, we had a weird fact pattern here in the sense that they really didn't start effectuating warrants until like ad nauseum until later in the game. You know what I mean? When they really started to kind of put together the fact that, all right, the family's come to us with this concept. They've hired this PI. He's firing off all these emails, which we're pretty much ignoring, but it's sticking in our craw a bit, that Kouri is responsible for this shit to the extent where they start digging in on it. And, I mean, that to me is one of the stronger avenues for the defense to have taken here, which was you just can't trust the investigation. Too much time had elapsed. There'd been way too many people that could have tampered with things. So you just can't trust it, and I don't know if they did that enough. Like I didn't walk away feeling like I did, in Karen Reed too, where, they were able to really successfully challenge how that investigation went, and I mean, that became like public enemy number one was the investigation in that case, and that you can't trust it,
that one. Loyally made an interesting video about the constitutional issues with the state using the PI's work.
Well, yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't watch Lee's live, but I'm imagining that it was kind of a way to circumvent the Fourth Amendment. You know what I mean? It's like getting a private citizen to go in and do your search because you can't get a warrant. It's the same concept. So
and then you get a warrant based on what that person found.
Precisely.
No.
Right. It's not how that thing's supposed to work.